What's up, family? Welcome to 49ers Breakdown. My name is Aaron. I'm excited to be here tonight with Friday Night Football. A little Friday Night Football for me here. And, we're going to jump into Trey Lance's first NFL action. Why not? Let's go back. Let's look how he played against KC. I think this is appropriate. Of course, KC was coming off another Super Bowl, or rather a Super Bowl game. They lost the Super Bowl to Tampa Bay. But the last time the Niners had played them, of course, they lost in the Super Bowl to Kansas City. So this was an intriguing matchup. And just, I figured it's Friday night. I just want to see this. I want to go back and look and see how Trey played against these guys and see what kind of obstacles he was made to overcome in his first action in NFL. So welcome to 49ers Breakdown. Please like, subscribe, share, and recognize that whenever I go live, I'm always trying to get other people on. So if you're ever interested in jumping on, there's a lot of knowledgeable 49er fans. So it'd be fun. It'd be fun to have people jump on. So I'm going to try to put the link in the chat every time. If I forget, you guys can remind me. But I'm usually going to go later at night. Just when I have free time and I'm out here on the West Coast. And just want to get into some Niners while I got the chance, while I got the opportunity, and break down some game film. So without further ado, let's jump in. Let's jump in and check out some game film. Shall we? Shall we, family? So what I did is I jumped right to Trey, right? I mean, come on. I don't see any point in looking at Jimmy's footage. So this was the second drive of the game. He's starting 1st and 10 on the 14-yard line. They're coming out 21 personnel. And as you can see here, I'll run it back just a little bit, but they're using a little bit of return motion there with Charlie Warner. And they do a little ISO play action, and they release the backs. Now, Trey does a phenomenal job stepping up in the pocket here. Now, first of all, they got twin deep curls here. Now, to the bottom of the screen, you see Travarius Ward in a kind of a man technique versus Ayuk, where to the top of the screen, it looks like they're playing quarters. The reason they can do this kind of zone man concept is because there's only one receiver to the bottom of the field. So you'll see this versus teams that play 21 personnel, but you'll also see it versus trips formations where they run kind of a zone man combo coverage. But you'll see Sorensen come down here, and he's got kind of got the curl flat, and you're kind of on an island right here with Travarius Ward. They put him on an island. But the Niners run their play action. Trey's looking for this curl, but he can kind of see this guy getting in the window. See this guy in the window here? So what looks to be promising could bounce off the back of this guy's head. So Trey does a nice job going to his next progression. Checks up in initially he's kind of looking to the flat. But he sees Sorensen kind of rallying there. So his eyes want to get to the next level to see what he's got cooking. Now, a lot of people I remember complaining about, well, Trey throws the ball too hard. I mean, did they ever say that about John Elway? No, John Elway was breaking fingers. Ask Vance Johnson. John Elway was breaking fingers of receivers, okay? It's your job. You're paid to catch the ball. Now, here's the other thing. This ball had to be thrown at this velocity, okay? Again, ISO, play action, really good job selling the fake by Trey, okay? I mean, really good job extending the hand, tucking it, really good feet, steps up in the pocket, and I love the fact that he's rocking the shoulder to keep his throwing shoulder to keep his shoulders parallel with the line of scrimmage. So there's good fundamentals right here from Trey on the move. Sometimes they suffer with Trey, but he's got good square shoulders to the target here. Nice job stepping up in the pocket. And instead of going to hook it here, he comes back to Ayuk on the scramble drill. So Ayuk does a really good job coming from the curl here. The curl to work in the scramble drill. Okay, let's get to the sideline. Now, because Sorensen's falling here, Trey's got to put this on a dime, right? And that's exactly what he does, and it bounces right off the hands of Ayuk, who probably saw Sorensen flashing in front of his eyes, right? And the ball drops. That's the first pass of Trey Lance's career, and it's a dime. And it had to be thrown at that velocity. And it's absolute dime, okay? I don't know what more you could expect. That's a first down if he catches the ball. Okay, so really nice play by Trey Lance for your first play, second drive of the season versus a good team. We see Charvarius Ward there in coverage, who's the Niners corner now. And Ayuk just drops the ball. He just flat drops the ball. So the Niners are in second down now, 11 personnel. Warner in motion there, and they're running outside zone. What's interesting here is we got Trey Sermon in the backfield. How about that? Trey Sermon in the backfield. Now, Trey does a decent job, but, there's no Trent Williams out here, right? So Jalen Moore does a pretty bad job on the double team on the reach, and his guy beats him to the point. So Sermon has to cut back. Not a lot cooking there. Can't really blame Trey Sermon on that particular play. All right? Can't blame him so much on that play. Niners come out in a 4 wide receiver set, okay, dual bunches. And I don't really like what I see here from the Niners as much when you're looking at the pass play concepts that they're running, okay? Now, what you'll see here is kind of, the drag should have been instant. But the problem is that Chris Jones is in Trey Lance's face so fast there's nothing he can do, okay? So I'm okay with the fact they gave him an early option. Okay, they're kind of sitting over the top to hold the backer in the middle of the field. Then they're running deep curls on the outside. But in this type of situation, again, this is 11 personnel. We got a tight end in the slot. In this type of situation, he's got to be able to get the ball out, but unfortunately, he's got guys in his vision, and Chris Jones is a monster. So this is really hard to get this ball right here. That's just a great challenge to be able to get that ball there right now. Maybe if he's quick enough, but what he's witnessing is Trey Sermon comes up to make this block and trips Brunskill. Okay, so Brunskill goes over on his back. Okay, so again, second down, we got the reach play, the outside zone, where Jalen Moore just misses his block. Third down, 11 personnel, a little dual bunch concept, 4 wide receivers. You usually see crossing routes when you get that type of formation. And Chris Jones just absolutely obliterates Brunskill. But I don't blame Brunskill as much. You'll see why. First of all, they're in an exotic front so they can get this matchup. Okay. Second of all, you're going to see Sermon step up. But instead of filling this void right here, he sets right behind Brunskill and trips him up right there. See that? So now Brunskill loses his feet, and Jones is getting Trey Lance. Can't really blame Trey that much on that one. His vision was obscured. This is part of the reason why a guy like Jason Poe is going to have maybe a little bit more of a challenge than people think making the team. When you got a guy that's 6'6" right here, and Chris Jones, you got a guy, teams are going to isolate your guard. Okay, so they're going to bring these exotic fronts. When you have an exotic front like that with 3 guys to one side, what you're doing is you're forcing a slide. You're forcing the center to help to this side, to the top of the screen, because that's where the 3 defenders are. So now you get an isolation on the guard. You put your best player on that guy, right? So a guy like Jason Poe, if he playing guard, he's got a 6'6" guy like Chris Jones, that's a really tough matchup. Okay, now Brunskill is obviously an overachiever, but the problem here again is that Trey Sermon sets up right behind his feet, and so he gets tripped up. He was getting beat anyways, but it became really bad when he got tripped up. At that point, Trey can't really step up. There's nowhere to go. And you can see they're bringing extra pressure here in what is a cover 1 pressure situation, okay? So you got one single high safety, man across the board. It would have been nice to be able to get that ball dumped down to Juwan, but he just didn't have any vision. He did not have a clear window to be able to do that, okay? So let's retrace here. Let's go back to Trey's first play. 21 personnel, return motion by Warner. Good play call right here. Great job on the play action fake. He sells it, pumps. He wants to get the ball here to this deep hitch, but this guy's in the window. He's going to bounce the ball at the back of that guy's head if he throws that ball, right? So he gets his hitch step, steps up in the pocket, and now he's looking to the second and first level options here. Where can he go with the ball? Well, he sees Sorensen flashing down to the flat, sees an open window here on the scramble drill, and delivers a bullet to Ayuk, and Ayuk drops that ball off his hands. Let's watch the whole play here. You'll see Ayuk settle against Charvarius Ward, work the scramble drill to the outside. The ball bounces right off his hands. That's the first pass that Trey Lance ever threw in the NFL, and it was an absolute dime. Just a perfect pass. Off schedule. Really, really nice fundamental. Squaring his shoulders in the line of scrimmage. On the move. Delivers a bullet. Had to be a bullet. And it was dropped. So we got 2nd and 10 here. 11 personnel. They're going to try to run an outside zone to the top of the screen. Now this double here is going to work up to backer. The problem is that Jalen Moore loses contact on the double. Okay? He's got to be able to post that outside arm and hook this guy. He's got to be able to post his outside arm and run his inside arm to the center of the man's chest. But instead, he gets beat, forcing Sermon to cut it back. Not much cooking. Not much cooking. So now you're in a 3rd and long, obvious pass situation for Trey. Has anybody seen Trey's fault yet? Not me. Right? As far as, well, actually, Sermon or Lance. But Lance delivered a first down strike that would have went for a first down or more. But the ball was dropped. And now on 2nd down, Jalen Moore misses his block, and we're in 3rd and 8. So we're in 3rd and long. We come out, 11 personnel. We got a tight end in the slot. Typically when teams run these dual bunches like this, okay, these tight formations, you can always expect crossing routes. They run deep curls to the outside with kind of a two-shell beater with a crossing route, and then the tight end's going to sit right over the middle of the field, okay? Now, what they do is they're running an exotic, and they're getting the one-on-one they want, but they're bringing Sorensen as well. Okay, so you have a cover 1 blitz here, and Sermon steps up again and trips Brunskill. Look where he's setting up, you guys. He's setting up directly behind Brunskill. You got to fill this void, Trey. You got to be quicker, Trey Sermon. Okay, you have to fill that void. So Chris Jones is able to lunch Brunskill because Brunskill's getting tripped. Now, he was getting beat anyways. But he's able to lunch him because Brunskill gets tripped up. So, as far as what Trey went through on that first drive, I can't blame him for anything there. I cannot blame him for anything there. And I think that, if that first down catch is made, we're talking about a completely different drive. Okay? So, with that said, let's get to Trey's next drive. Okay, we're just going to focus on the offense. All right, 1st down. Tight end motion. Now this looks like 12 personnel. Okay, we have 2 tight ends here. And let's see what we got. All right. So this is the money ball. You kidding me? Okay, so Niners are given a play action look, split zone look. Okay, so Dwelly's coming across the formation. Typically what they'll do is they'll kick the backside guy and everybody's reaching. So instead of reading the end, you kick that backside guy on split zone. Some people call it slide zone. Beautiful play action fake, rolls, throws opposite side of the field. Once again, what you like to see is his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, and just delivers an absolute dime. You've seen 2 passes from Trey and 2 absolute dimes. I don't even know what to say. It's obvious he works really well in play action. Okay? Motion across to even out the formation. Play action, beautiful extension, rolls to his left. Now, typically, you're going to get everybody running this way on your typical boots, right? But what he's able to do is roll to his left, flip his hips, and throw the ball all the way back across the field. 10, 20, 30 plus yards. And you got to consider the fact now that he's thrown across the field. Okay? Sometimes this is considered foolish, but he absolutely just drops a dime for a huge 80-yard touchdown. You guys, that is just ridiculous. I don't care if there's backups in the game. I don't care if he threw it to a backup. For you to come in and for your first two throws to be dimes like that, what more could you ask for? What more could you ask for? I don't know. Dwelly emotion, 12 personnel. Beautiful play action fake off the split zone look. Sets his feet, flips his hips, and delivers a absolute dime. Beautiful touch on that pass. Great trajectory. Didn't stay in the air too long where only his guy could get it. And a really nice concept by Kyle on this route combination. Because what you're going to see Trey Sherfield did. Now, typically this guy's going to run a corner, but what's he run instead? A corner post. Okay, so he's coming back to the middle of the field. You could even call it a corner because he's coming all the way across the field. But for Trey to be able to make that throw on that double move and just have the confidence in himself, oftentimes you're going to see a quarterback want to check that down. Remember, this is his second throw in the NFL. His first one was a dime that bounced off the hands of Ayuk. It would have been a first down. This is his second throw. Okay, 12 personnel, extension, great job, rollout, sets his feet, flips his hips, and throws an absolutely perfect ball where only his guy can get it. You have to love what you see. I mean, when this is your first start and the team you're playing was just in the Super Bowl, I don't care if there's backups on the field. This is in the first half of the game. There's a lot of competition out on the field. We saw Chris Jones just eat his lunch and get a sack in his first drive, right? So this is very impressive to me when I go back and I think about Trey's first two passes. The first one off schedule, bounces the ball off of Ayuk's hands. Had to throw it that hard to split the coverage on a scramble drill where he does a great job stepping up in the pocket. And then this one, he's rolling to his left, flips his hips, and throws an absolute dime to Sherfield on a double move all the way across the opposite side of the field. Come on. You know, I mean, this is just really good football. And for a rookie to come in and feel that confident in throwing the ball, you can't help but be encouraged. You cannot help but be encouraged. Now, we're just going to go to the offensive plays here and take a peek at Trey. All right. So here we are, 1st and 10. We're at the 45. All right. 11 personnel. Okay. We got a trio concept to the bottom of the field. And Niners are just running inside zone. Now, this is kind of where Sermon would get himself in trouble. Okay. The Niners want to see Trey press. Okay, and cut it back. They want to see a one-cut move. They want to see you press and cut outside or inside, but they don't want to see the double wiggle. So you're pressing, you're making that move. You got to get vertical now. You can't be shaking right here. They don't want to see this wiggle. See this? See that? That. They don't want to see that. That worked in college. It does not work in the NFL. And whether you think it's going to work or not, they don't want to see it. That's the bottom line. They do not want to see it. They believe in one cut and go. That's been the rule since Terrell Davis, right? So that bop, they don't want to see. They just want to see him put his foot in the ground and get vertical because they think if he can break this tackle, there could be a block there, and now you're at the third level of the defense. So instead of that bop, they want to see you plant your foot and get vertical. And that's kind of why Trey had a little bit of trouble, I think, cracking the rotation. Then he started getting injured, and that was no good, right? All right, so 11 personnel here. We got a tight end, running back, 3 wide receiver look. Okay, looks like they're playing quarters coverage or cover 2 man, and, just a simple inside zone. Okay, so just an inside zone to the weak side. Okay, you press the hole, cut it back, right? Cut it back. But there's just a little there's just a little uncertainty there. You guys feel that? Can you sense that uncertainty where he just kind of waffles in the hole there, just waffling there? Cut that thing back. You hit it and get it, or you plant and cut that thing back hard, right? So these are some of the issues that Trey was having. Trying to read a little too much. Maybe the speed of the game got to him a little bit, but we're in a 3rd and 1 situation now. So Niners come out in 12 personnel. They got 2 tight end look here, or that could be Hokut. I'm having a hard time seeing. That could be Hokut, where it could be 21 personnel. At any rate, you can see we have kind of a jumbo concept here at the bottom of the screen. 3rd and 1. Okay, so this is actually, 12 personnel with 2 tight ends. And they hand the ball to Sermon, and he does a decent job getting the first down. But what are you noticing? Are you noticing the hesitation with Sermon? Right? You're noticing that just the hesitation. The Niners want to see him put his head. See that, you guys? Watch his bop bop. Watch this. Right there. See that dot dot dot? They don't want to see that. They want to see you hit it and get it, or plant and cut. Bottom line. That's what they want to see. So that little shuffle step they're saying, Trey, that's slowing your momentum. That's not allowing you to be able to run behind your pads. We want you to read it and get what you can get, especially in short yard situations. So I think Trey was playing with a little bit of nerves, to be quite honest with you. And I'm hoping that after a year of kind of redshirting in a way for Trey Sermon, and a guy like, TDP getting drafted, he's thinking, I got to have the best offseason of my life, and I'm ready to come in. I learned from my rookie year mistakes, and now I'm ready to make plays, right? And so he can compete to get on the field and play a lot better. What they call that is false steps. That's what we call it. When you're making those steps, that's false steps. You're slowing your momentum. You're stopping your ability from being able to run behind your pads, and you're slowing your momentum. False steps are a horrible trait for a running back. They're a horrible trait in a lot of sports, but especially as a running back, okay? So let's go back and look at this again, okay? So basically what we got here, sorry about that, guys. All right, looks like we have 11 personnel here. Okay, they're motioning to trips to the bottom of the screen. 1st and 10, 2nd quarter as the field flips, and just a little now screen. Okay, so you got a now screen to Jennings. Nice little play call. Trey does a good job here, just stepping. He want to grip and rip, right? So he grip and rip. Okay, Niners do a good job getting out there. You want to see Jennings be able to maybe get up in there and hit that a little bit, right? Jennings got a lot better, though. As he played more and more, he really did start to play a lot better. But that's a nice job. So Trey's had 3 passes, and they've all been just right. They've all been just right. What's up, Celts? Thank you for being here, brother. Thank you for being here, brother. He says, what's up, man? Took the words out of my mouth. TDP, right? Yeah, it's interesting coming back and watching Sermon here, because they were high on him early. And then he started making some of those false steps, started, getting a little antsy, a little nerve, and it took him right out of the rotation, because that is not at all what the Niners want to see. But you can learn. These are things you can learn. He's going to be like, all right, I get the best offseason of my life. Now I'm going to hit it and get it. I'm going to plant, cut it back. I'm going to run through people. We know Trey Sermon has the ability. I mean, we saw him at Oklahoma. We saw him at Ohio State. The guy was a really good college football player, so we know he has the ability. And in a rotation, I think it's perfect for him because it can keep him fresh. So 1st and 10 here, okay? Looks like they're in 12 personnel, 2 tight end set, bunched up, okay? And they're running split zone. And I'm telling you right now, this is why Trey Sermon sat. This is why I did not mean for this to be a Trey Sermon breakdown, but this is actually what it's becoming. But Celts, you already know what I'm going to say. We've been talking about it already. I mean, all right, so what we're looking at here is an inside zone. They call it split zone because instead of reading this guy like in a zone read, they're going to run Dwelly back to block him, and he's going to work up to the 2nd level. So what you want to see here from Sermon is him press the hole here and then cut it back hard. He's going to press the hole here and run it right down this alley, right off tackle, or he's going to cut it back. But watch the waffle. I call the waffle. Those are the false steps, right? Where, I don't know. I'm waffling back and forth, right? Watch him. Sorry about that. Let's watch it again. Okay. Watch this. You see that? And his momentum slowed so much that he's getting tackled. I mean, he's not able to go anywhere. So Trey needs to be able to trust his instincts. Is that Gallman? That's Gallman. So now you know why Gallman got cut. Now that I think about it, that's Gallman. I believe that's Gallman. For some reason, I'm not having a hard time seeing the numbers. I apologize. But this is the same type of problem. They don't want to see false steps. And that's exactly what you're getting here. So as he presses the hole here, right there, he cut it back. He needs to hit that. He needs to hit that or hit that. One of the two, but he needs to go. And you just see him kind of waffling, losing his momentum, hitch steps, double. I mean, he just doesn't know what he's doing. It's just second guessing his natural instinct. And that's the same thing we saw from Trey. All right, 12 personnel, kind of an exotic offensive look. You got two tight ends and you motion your running back out. Okay, so I like the look here from the Niners as far as formation on a 2nd and 7. Gun look, Trey gets the ball. Okay, so this is a clear out. Basically, what they're trying to do is clear this out. They're going to run these guys off, and they're going to clear out a slant right here. Okay, and you got a deeper route, a deeper dig route, and an under route on the backside. Basically, a two-man combination to the top of the field. But Trey has a man in his face before he can get rid of the ball. So, I mean, that's a problem. That's a problem. Now, the way this front is designed here, they're forcing a slide to the bottom of the field. They're forcing a slide to the bottom of the field. It's likely a 4-man slide, okay, with Compton or whoever's up top ISO'd on that defensive end. But they bring pressure. So now I think that's Banks maybe. He's got to come off. Well, now you got, it's Brendel maybe. I don't even know who that is there. But unfortunately, whoever's at left guard gets his lunch ate. So instead of Trey having a window to throw an easy dime, he's getting his lunch ate, right? And this becomes a trend in this game. I haven't gone back and watched this film in a while. So, but I remember. So that's just nice job using his hands to the swim, gets upfield, and Trey does not have the necessary time to deliver an easy pass, does not have the window to deliver an easy pass, which would have been a nice gain there. Unfortunate, don't you think? Would have been nice if they gave him a few more linemen, you're right, if they're going to expect him to have more success. That's what I would have done anyways. All right, so now we're in a position to where it's 3rd and 14. You go from 2nd and 7 to 3rd and 14. All right, and that's just So here's that play again. Sometimes this all-22 film jumps back and forth. We'll look at it again real quick. He wants to get rid of that. See that? But he got guys right in his face. Nothing he can do. Does the smart thing, takes the sack instead of risking a fumble or something even worse, right? He knows he's in field goal range. Right here, the Niners, I believe, are in 11 personnel. I believe that's a tight end. If I'm not mistaken, motion into the backfield. Dwelly? Yeah, that's Dwelly. So 11 personnel. They release both backs on flares, and Trey's concerned about getting hit again, so he checks the ball down. You see what I'm saying? Now, he would have liked to have been able to sit in the pocket and hit that dig. Come on. He'd like that. Well, let's look at the pocket collapse on him, right? Look at this. Free runner, you guys. Free runner. Right there. He's got a free runner about to eat him alive, and he knows it, so he does the best he can. He still goes down. He's still on the ground, and he's checking the ball down to the flat. That's trouble. So it's really hard to give your quarterback an honest evaluation when he has no time to throw the ball. The first two throws of the game he threw were absolute dimes. He bounces the first ball off of Ayuk's hands. He throws that 80-yard, and that would have been a first down off schedule, and it had to have been thrown that hard because he split coverage on that. The second one, he throws an 80-yard bomb across the field, flips his hips, throws a very accurate touch pass to Sherfield. And in this possession here, he salvages 3 points. I mean, when he could have forced something and made it worse. All he needed was a little bit of protection. All right? All he needed was a little bit of protection. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to get it. And Bob Gold comes in and gets him 3 points because that's what Bob Gold does. let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Thanks for being here, Celts. We're gonna keep looking at Trey's play here. Not looking at our defense as much. Just want to focus on Trey area. I call him Big Play Trey, right? Just want to focus on Big Play Trey. And this is, man, I love this. All right, so, I mean, what better position to test your rookie quarterback than the 1 yard line against the defending AFC champs in his first game in the NFL? What better place to test your rookie? So 22 personnel here. So you got a tight end here, another tight end in motion with two backs. And Trey does an excellent job here. Okay, excellent job. So unfortunately, the way this is rolling, I'm going to have to click it back and then click it forward. All right, so here we go. We'll run it. So they motion to twins on the bottom of the screen. Actually, this is 21 personnel. That was Jawan Jennings in motion. So you see a twins formation to the bottom of the field, 3 surface side to the top. That's where the tight end is. And they're running play action. They're running play action here. Most teams think they're going to run the ball. The Niners do a good job. And, of course, I messed that up. I'm going to let it run here so it accurately gives us a view. Nice play action. Trey gets his eyes around quick, throws a dime. You guys, every time he's had time to throw the football, it's been a dime. And this is his first game in the NFL against a team that was just in the Super Bowl, right? It was, yeah, very, very similar. Now, the route concept on that, Celts, from Debo, because of the shell, he turned it more into a dig as opposed to a more of a corner, right? But yeah, I'll go back and look at that here in just a little bit too. We'll check it out. Very, very similar concept, flipped, and then the route was adjusted because of the shell. But what you see here is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we got to go back and watch this because you got a rookie quarterback on the 1 against an AFC championship team that's been in 2 Super Bowls. Nice play action, flips his eyes, sets his feet, throws a dime, 35-yard gain in your own end zone. Come on. I mean, what more could you ask for from a rookie quarterback? And remember, he's got guts, right, Celts? He's got guts on that because what happened last possession? Last possession, the last 2 times he tried to throw the ball, he ended up on his back, right? And I mean, that was in quick 3-step and out type plays. So it's not like it was 5-step drops or, this is quick game stuff. And he's still ending up on his back. So for him to have the poise to be able to stand in the end zone like that and deliver, you got to like it. Motioning to twins. All right. 21 personnel. It's really a nice route by Charlie Warner. Does a nice job catching the ball with his hands, but Trey just does a nice job on that play with his poise, with his footwork, delivering the ball very accurately. Trey's got 4 pass attempts so far, and they're all dimes. 21 personnel. Okay, a little over motion to see if they're a man or zone. Okay, split zone concept. Okay, so we'll see him come back. He's going to kick that end instead of reading that end, right? He's going to kick that. And Sermon does a better job, I got to be honest with you, but the Niners offensive line, the backups aren't the greatest. Last year we struggled to get the offensive line kind of in sync early on in the season. I'm sure you remember. We'll let this play here, and you can see Sermon kind of press that hole. He's got to cut it back. I don't really have as much a problem with that. I mean, they got their strong safety sitting right there. That's number 48, sitting in the B gap. So that's a difficult play, but better by Trey to, cut it back and try to see what you can get. I'd like to see him be a little bit more skinny when he hits the hole. So you can get his body lean forward, right? You want to have body lean always going forward as a running back. 11 personnel, return motion, play action. Okay, so now this is more of a traditional play action, and Trey's got to come back here and fires a ball that's dangerous as it gets. But what happens? It bounces off the receiver's hands. River Craycraft drops the ball. Now, was it the smartest decision in the world? No. But was the ball accurate and where it should be? Yeah, it was. and the guy drops it. So you can't blame Trey there. All right, good play action, sells it, sets his feet, nothing there. Reset, steps up in the pocket, takes two guys that hit him and delivers the ball right off the receiver's hands. Celts, brother, what more could we ask for here? Truthfully, the guy's been on the ground 3 times already, and he's delivering the ball here. Okay, so Craycraft is on basically like a whip route, and he sees just a pocket. He comes back to you got to catch that ball, River. Catch that ball. You didn't drop anything in Washington State. You come to the Niners, you can't catch anything. Really tough. Really tough. I don't know exactly. So this is what I don't like about the all 22 sometimes, Celts, is that it'll just skip plays. And I don't know why that is. But again, nice play fake. Flips his hips, got his eyes turned around, steps up in the pocket. He's about to get hit by 2 guys and delivers a dime right there. Now, maybe you think he could go here, but he might have been thinking that guy was there. And he's got this guy's back turned, so he knows that guy's got to flip his hips all the way around. Man, that's arm strength. That is arm strength. And to be able to put that on the money, just catch the ball for him, right? Just catch the ball for him. So I'm going to trim this down here. And let's go back to the one. Let's go back to that first series. And let's go back to Trey's first series. Okay. Maybe, if I can get it to click where we want it to click. All right. All right. Let's go. Or isn't it playing? Sorry about this. Maybe we'll be able to get it to go back. All right, let's see. We should be... Well, doesn't want to work with me. So we'll do that. And then we're going to go like this sideline view. We're going to play the sideline. And we're going to go there. And hopefully we got Trey. All right, so here we go. So we got that return motion, 21 personnel. And this is the first play of Trey Lance's professional football career. Wants to throw this deep hitch, but he sees a guy in the lane that the ball's likely going to bounce off his head. Or if he flips his eyes around, he might be able to intercept it. So he doesn't like that as much because see where he's setting up? By the time he gets his eyes back around, this guy's in that window. So Trey does a good job of going to a second and third read in his progression. Steps up as the pocket starts to collapse, goes to the second level, and sees this window right here with Ayuk. We got Charvarius Ward in coverage, by the way, our new starting corner, and throws an absolute dart right off the hands of Ayuk. Right off the hands. Come on, Ayuk. Right? So there's that return motion to see what coverage they're in. Trey does an excellent job on the play action. Steps up, goes to a second read, moves in the pocket, squares his shoulders. You gotta love the fundamentals on this play. He has to throw a dart here. It's gotta have velocity, or what's gonna happen? This guy's gonna pick that ball off. Bink, right off Ayuk's hands, family. That's his first throw. Last Feb, before we drafted him, one of my favorite things about Trey was when pressure is coming, he has the ability to power it in. He really does. You're right. Yeah, he's got a lot of velocity on his throws. And it's sneaky, right? And, for these people, Celts, that are saying that, well, Trey needs to learn how to throw a touch and he throws the ball too hard. Are you kidding me? This is the NFL. John Elway used to break fingers. Okay, of course you want your quarterback to be able to throw a touch. But you know what? If that ball hits you on the hands in the NFL, you need to catch it. I don't care what anybody says. That's just nonsense. Like, he throws it too hard, right? I mean, are you kidding me? Like, that's just nonsense. Now, of course, if there's a short drag route, you don't want to throw the ball 90 miles an hour. But this is a pass that had to have velocity. Like you said, bro, he's powering it in there. Why? Because he has to. Look at Sorensen. Sorensen's coming down. Sorensen thinks he's going to be able to get to this. See how he kind of goes behind it there? because he didn't see Ayuk coming underneath. But man, that ball bounces right off of Ayuk's hands, right off his hands. And I mean, this is your first pass in the NFL on the first play. You got Chris Jones right here. You got NFL players out here. This is, I mean, come on now. They haven't subbed out all their stars. And he does a really nice job avoiding pressure, stepping up, squaring his shoulders, and throwing a dart that would have been a first down. Right? Okay, next play. They go outside zone. Jalen Moore's going to miss his block. Okay, so he's got to get that double, but see, he gets beat. Sermon tries to cut back. Nothing going on the outside zone. Jalen Moore's got to be better. I like Jalen Moore. I like him. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's probably going to be, fighting for the swing tackle position or maybe right tackle if McGlinchey can't go. I like him at guard, though. But we got some guys at guards. We got some other players that can effectively play guard. Yeah, exactly. Touch can be taught, power can't. 100%. And I think Trey has touch. The things where there's weaknesses in Trey's game or inconsistencies is what I would consider, because I don't see a true weakness. It's everything can be taught. Everything can be taught. 100%, brother. So again, now this is his second option at throwing the ball. They run an exotic front cover one blitz, and watch what happens here. Chris Jones just manhandles Brunskill, but Brunskill, he's got a problem because Trey Sermon's setting up his pass set underneath his feet. Watch this. Look where Sermon's at. Directly behind him. Watch this. Look at this. Sermon is directly behind Brunskill. Brunskill thinks he's going to lose his knees. And so he gets tripped over Sermon. And that's another reason why Sermon kind of went in the doghouse early in the year, right? Little things make the biggest difference in the NFL. No question about it. Let's go to the second drive here, see if it'll work for us here. Let's see what we can get here. I don't know. I don't think it wants to work for us. So we're just gonna we'll fast forward here. Niners hold them to a field goal attempt here. Maybe I'm going to fast forward. Maybe. We'll see what's going on. Ah, snap. You know what that means. Man, I don't know why. Why do I pay for this again? Counts? Why am I paying for this if it's going to do that? But that's typically what happens to me. What's our time mark? Right around the 40-minute mark. It's interesting. Every time I go to do a live, it does that. But I think that's where I'll stop for tonight. Celts, brother, if you ever feel like you want to jump on with me live, you can always hit that link. You don't even have to show your face. You can just do the audio, and we can break down film together, brother. It's all love. You know what I mean? Longtime 49er fan. I've been a head football coach for high schools as well. So I just want to be able to get in here and chat football, but I really appreciate you coming in, man, and communicating with me. When the game slows down for a lot of our guys, it's going to be beautiful. Agreed, man. Agreed. That second year leap can be a big leap for guys. When you look at our second year players that we expect to make that leap, you got guys like Aaron Banks, you got guys like Trey Lance, you got guys like Jalen Moore, right? Ambry Thomas, even Diamador Lenore, Hufunga. We got these second year players, even Elijah Mitchell and Trey Sermon, that you expect to have their biggest leap in year two. That's when you expect them to have their biggest leap in their pro career. My head's starting to disappear a little bit. But that's encouraging, man. And I really believe that the game has slowed down for Trey. I might even tomorrow night, I'm going to jump back on. What I'll do tomorrow night, brother, is same time. I'll come back on and we'll jump into, maybe what I want to do is go to that Seahawks game. Because remember, he played the second half of the Seahawks game. So we'll take a look at that Seahawks game tomorrow night where he got his first real NFL action in game. And maybe I'll bounce back to preseason. Then maybe I'll go, But I want to take a look at that Seahawks game and how he played in the second half. But the kid, when you look at that performance, just those few drives that we looked at, his first throw was a dime off schedule, bounced off the receiver's hands. His second true throw was an 80-yard dime for a touchdown. Right? He's got another pass that bounces off the hands of Craycraft. He's getting hit. He's getting put to the ground with no time. He throws a beautiful pass out of the end zone, right? He throws a beautiful pass out of the end zone. So you got to love that. I'm going to add Rich to the stream. Rich, what's up, bro? How you doing, man?
What's going on, my man? Hey,
Let me
I
get my
seen you,
earpiece
so
in,
I
bro.
wanted to just hop on and introduce myself and get to meet you, my man.
How's it going, brother?
Everything is well. Hey, I hear a massive echo. I don't know if that's on my
Oh,
side,
okay.
but
You got an echo? Let me
yeah.
see.
Let me try to. Hey, everything is well, man. It's beautiful. I ain't gonna lie though, man. I am a little under the weather. I was
Yep.
about to do my own live show, man, but I was checking your stuff out, and I was like, hey, let me come chop it up with him for a minute.
I appreciate it. What's your channel, man?
It's Celts Chronicle, man.
Okay, so you're Celts. Awesome. Perfect, man. Well, I'm glad you came on here, man. I'm glad you came on here. I'm relatively new to the whole Niner content creators. There's so many. There's a lot of Niner content creators. And are you still getting an echo from me?
Oh, let me try to fix this 1
It could
minute,
be
my
me. Let
man.
me unplug and see what's up. How about now? Do you still got an echo? We good?
It sounds.
Is it better now?
Yep, I still hear it a little bit. Nah, it is
Really?
better though. It is
Really?
better.
I wonder what's going on. That's
It's
interesting.
probably my side, man, because I don't got no headphones in.
Huh. Well, we got a moment. While we got a moment, man, we might as well just try to figure this out because this is the first guest I've had on. So we'll see how it works. You still hear that echo, bro? Or is it better now?
Let me see if this works. All right, you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. I just I had my Bluetooth in, but yeah, man, I'm good now. I'm
Uh,
pretty sure I don't hear no echo. So what's up, man? How
all
you
right,
doing?
cool, bro. Good, man.
My
Good.
name
Yeah, go ahead.
my name is Rich. Yeah, I run a show, Celts Chronicles. I
Nice.
think I could have swore I seen your logo a while back. I'm not sure if that's the same logo I seen a while back, but I seen you I just seen you recently, man, and was like, okay, like, hey, I seen how you're breaking stuff down and just hearing your knowledge and everything. I was like, okay, man, hey, I like this stuff right here, man. So I just wanted to introduce myself, say what's
Nice.
up, and then the first thing I noticed was your mic, man. The Jesus is Lord.
Amen.
Amen, hallelujah. I appreciate that to the fullest.
Yes,
One
sir.
thing, one little saying I brought to my channel was faithful rise up,
You know?
and hey, and I mean it. I mean it with everything I do, man. Football, everyday living. That's
Mm-hmm.
just what I kind of stand by. To the fullest, man. It wasn't always this way. I kind of, you know, very very similar to a lot of people in the Bible, man. So I
Sure.
can relate. So I can
Yeah.
relate. In many of different ways, man. I just wanted to say what's up, man, and I appreciate what you're doing so far.
That's cool, brother. Well, the Bible says you can't say Jesus is Lord unless by the power of the Holy Spirit. So you got the Holy Spirit, man. I could tell you saying that. So that's what's up. And I appreciate you, Rich, stopping by. And it's I think it's great to be able to collab with other people. So hopefully this is a first of many, man, where we can break down film. And yeah, I have a lot of experience, played a little college ball and then coached for a long time. Right. So,
Okay.
I've been a head football coach for two different high schools in Oregon, and then, a coordinator, defense coordinator, worked on both sides of the ball. And just, I want to be able to break down the game film so people can kind of get a little bit of a deeper understanding. I remember back in the day, I used to go to the 49ers, like kind of before YouTube got big, before social media got big. I would go to the 49ers website and they had those message boards. I don't know if you ever did that back in the day, but I used to do a little breaking down of film on that, but they had some mods on there that would just they would like delete my post. Some people would really like it, but then they would delete them for whatever. So I just kind of stepped away from that. But I remember a lot of people liked, the breakdown of the X's and O's. There's some really good content guys that talk about the everyday drama and all that stuff, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm not really too worried about getting into that, although I do have some hot takes. But what's on your mind right now, man, as far as just overall 49er news? What's kind of in the airways? What's your mind on?
Ah, man, hey, the biggest thing that I've heard so far, I kind of just pay attention to all of it, and then I think I consider myself more of an old school dude. I was that young kid that used to read the newspaper, and today, I'm still kind of new to social media, to be honest. I
Yeah,
started Twitter about a year ago, actually been kind of consistent in it just the past few months. Even starting my YouTube channel was to be honest, for me personally, it was, I was kind of breaking down my own walls, super, super nervous when I first started. I still get super nervous when I hop on. Even
yeah,
right now, a little bit, man. It's just
that's
a
good.
part. Hey, it's a part of my natural anxiety that I've always had. But you know what? It's like I've been stupid passionate about the 49ers my whole life. So I was like, my main motivation was being fed up with Garoppolo, man.
Hey,
So
right?
my main motivation was like, look, 49ers, I cannot not be a fan of y'all. So if I cannot not be a fan of y'all, I got to say what I really feel. And what I really feel is there is this dude named Trey Lance. Y'all
Mm,
need to
come
move
on.
up in the draft and go get him. And the first time I ever came out and said it, people were like, you know what? He'll be there at 12. Don't worry about it, yada, yada, yada. He has his pro day. And then after his pro day, people were like, hey, man, you might have been ahead of it, Rich. Yada, yada, yada. And then we actually
Nice.
go and draft him.
Right.
People were giving me props and stuff like that. It's like, hey, look, I don't care to be right. I don't care about the drama. I don't care about the clicks. I just have heart, man. I love the 49ers. Like,
Let's
that's
go.
been one consistently positive thing in my life. Like, it's a little different for me, man. It's like the 49ers were, that place of peace. I come from a tough place. I come from a rough childhood. And it was like that was that escape for me. So
Mm,
it's like, um, so my heart's all the way in it whenever I'm trying to break stuff down, or if I do put my take, I try to come with I try to really make sure I know what I'm talking about. What I'm speaking of is the truth, or I let
sure.
it be known, hey, this is my opinion.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
so, so,
yeah.
so one topic that I did see along with a lot of us is maybe a few people, talking. I don't know if you heard about the Trey Lance. Who was it? Matt Lombardo. Matt Lombardo came out and said that Trey Lance is
Underwhelming.
continually. See, I'm a type of dude, man. I will pay attention to the details because I look at continually like that's repetitive, right? Continually. So I look at that word, continually. Hey, that's a repetitive thing. So I'm like, hold on, has this been a repetitive thing, right? Um, so I hear him today on 95.7 the game. I
Oh,
don't know if
really?
you're I don't know if you're familiar with that radio
Yeah, yeah,
station.
yeah, yeah. I know the
Yeah,
station. I don't listen to it all the time, but yeah, I know
Hey,
what you're talking about.
hey, I have not heard it in a long time. That's all I used to do was listen to the
Yeah,
radio station when I was working and didn't mess with any other social media whatsoever. And so I kind of converted from the radio station and newspaper to, just hey, throwing it out there, shooting the shot. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny enough. I click on the radio today, doing some, Mother's Day shopping and stuff like that, and sure enough, like as I'm listening, Damon and Rado they brought on Mike Lombardo. I was like,
uh
yes, like because like I'm a huge fan, but at the same time, I love. Uh, I'm not. I'm so I understand so much. Like I can understand my side, their side, the middle. I
right.
try to look at every aspect. So I'm like, hey, I want to hear this dude.
Yeah,
Of course, the fan in me want to be like, hey, I don't care what you got to say, yada yada yada. But it's like, hey, I want to hear this. I want to hear what he has to say.
yeah.
Um, where he got it from, what's his process, yada yada yada. So he basically said, there was an executive close to that was tight with the 49ers that had heard back in training camp that they were a little disappointed on his deep ball and his deep ball accuracy. And then we watch his
Come on.
first preseason game, him throw an absolute dime on his, what is that, second pass. But
Yeah.
so Damon Bruce and Ratto was basically kind of just letting him have his moment and explain himself. But it's like in the on the Twitter thing, it's kind of like he said it like, how he almost he forgot to leave out the part that this is going back to training camp. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, and then I think Bruce asked him, so how did you go about putting this out there right now? And he basically said something, well, he's seen some stuff about Trey Lance. It triggered a thought, and so he threw it out there. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I look at it like this. I look at it like this, man. Trey Lance is starting to get vocal. He's starting to show that leadership with "Stop It, Tony." Having his guys back. He's starting to, just gain some momentum, just even if it is with a couple of tweets here and there. So I feel like there's some guys, the Debo noise is kind of coming down. So people are fishing. I feel like it's just people fishing to see how might Trey respond to this. Okay, we see him getting a little bit more vocal. Let's see if we could throw some bait out there and hook, line, and sinker him into whatever. It's like if Trey Lance is the guy that I think he is, um, you know, uh, miss him with that one. I'm pretty sure he seems like, from all the research I've done, it seems like he's brilliant on and off the field. He's the type of dude who goes to children's hospitals.
Right.
He doesn't just. I don't believe he just has the tattoo on his back. I'm a child of God for no reason. I'm pretty sure he stands by that.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing, man. I think I don't think there's no ceiling to what he could bring to the 49ers, which are worldwide. So it's like, man, I'm stupid excited with his
Yeah.
mental ability, physical ability, and spiritual ability. In the Bay Area, we live in a world where it's so easy to see these athletes and what they do. And, hopefully he continues to be that positive role model that, that can really make a big difference on millions of people's lives. To be honest, that's just the way I see it.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about what you talked about. First of all, let me touch on you spoke about them moving up to get a guy like Trey, right? And when they made that trade to get those picks, see, I was like you. I had always wanted either Trey Lance or Justin Fields. For me, it was like, a guy like Mac Jones or somebody. I mean, these type of guys, we might as well keep Jimmy, But if we're going to make a move to get up, or if we get lucky where we were, if we were going to stay, I was hoping either Trey would fall or we'd be able to get Justin Fields, because that just like Kyle, I got tired of Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson running all over us and making us, right? It's like, I want that guy. I want to be able to have a guy that can go off schedule and change the game. And Trey Lance became my favorite of the two as well. I didn't know if they were going to pick him, but I knew one thing, bro. I knew it was going to be Justin Fields or Trey Lance. No way were they going to trade up unless they were going to get a guy that can run. I mean, that was just the bottom line to me when they did that. And so I was pleased, man, when they picked Trey Lance. I was hopeful that was going to be the guy. Regarding what you talked about with Lombardo, it sounds to me like, from what you said, that it's pretty obvious he was just throwing something out there to get clicks. I mean, he admitted it. Well, I had heard it in the past from an exec, and I just remembered it and thought I'd bring it out of the middle of nowhere. It almost like, it's interesting. It's interesting because it's a perfect time for somebody to do something like that, for them to take the headlines off of Debo. You notice that? It gets the headlines off of Debo. Interesting that's, I don't know exactly what that means or what that looks like. But just from what we broke down tonight, what I was breaking down, you were in the chat, hollering at me back and forth. I mean, Trey's first pass off schedule bounces off the hands of Ayuk. It's a first down. You know, that type of play gets your team in rhythm, gets them moving down the field. But instead, now now it's 2nd and 10. You're behind the sticks after the next play. Third down, they run an exotic, and Chris Jones is eating you for a sack. So with just these little type of things, the receivers catching the ball, all of a sudden the trajectory of the entire momentum of the game changes, right? And, what I love about Trey is he makes all the throws. He's tough as nails. He's got a really good disposition about him, right? He's not, you don't see him too high or too low. He's just, he's got a great disposition, good confidence in his game. Young, bro. Young. I mean, there's quarterbacks out there that are being drafted like Pickett. Pickett's older than Trey right now. Like, he was just drafted. He's a year older than Trey, bro. So, I mean, Trey's got that year underneath him. And Pickett was the first quarterback off the board this year in the draft. So for Trey to be able to be sitting where he is with a year underneath his belt, and, Jimmy had a lot of deficiencies. We both know that. But the one thing that Jimmy did well was prepare and lead, right? That was just spoken about all across the locker room. Great teammate. He prepared well. Why? Well, he learned from Tom Brady, right? And so for Trey to be able to sit underneath that and watch that, as much as I wanted him to play last year, I'm really happy he got to do that. For him to be able to be on the scout team and run all the opposing team's offenses and see what they do to try to beat defenses, that goes a long ways in his, his mental, his memory, that muscle memory, and his, overall growth as a quarterback. And then, of course, the time that he got, second half versus Seahawks, full game versus the Cardinals, full game versus Houston, that's just enough, bro, to prepare him for this year to where he's not coming into like, what do I do? It's like he did get the experience. So I'm excited.
When I look at that Cardinals game, I have that picture in my head of his helmet coming off and just I feel like what it was last year was like kind of, I could see Trey Lance. He would have wanted to try to prove himself like so much to where I feel like, it was perfect for him to take a step back, chill, watch it, because these guys don't just come in. It's not just coming into the game. I mean, these guys are moving across states. Mm-hmm. These guys are getting, there's so much on their plate as a rookie, just even getting familiar with the community. I mean, life is moving a million miles an hour. You don't want to put, someone you just invested so much into and just, want them to go and get their head knocked off, So, I mean, I was super impatient. I wanted to see him right from the get. I was like, hey, man, we're about to see 13-4 Super Bowl. First time in in history, a rookie quarterback, yada yada yada. But I'm glad to have seen him come in a little bit, and then at least like you were basically touching on, just get his feet wet, get those nerves out the way, see firsthand, what it's like in the NFL speed. Right. What NFL, what they're going to try to do against you. And I did see quite a few times the hesitation from Sermon and from even Lance, and it's going, those are things you're going to learn to get better at. It's going to slow down no matter what, whether it's football, any job you go to, those are repetitions. It's just going to come. And when it smooths out and when it slows down, man, it's going to be a beautiful thing to see. I went to the Texans game, and it was the first game I've been to in years. Right. And surprisingly enough, I wound up going to that game as a gift. So I had no idea. I got the tickets before even knowing Trey was going to start.
Come on.
Big time Trey area. My wife got me the tickets for Christmas. And it was just beautiful. It was just like kind of a meant to be. It's like, man, I came into this YouTube thing like Trey Lance all the way, and then wind up getting to go to the one game he plays. And you could see even just from the first half of that game to the second half, you could see Kyle Shanahan trusting him a little bit more. Yeah. It was a little wishy-washy in that first half. And then you see the potential of what he could do when he started settling down and Kyle starts settling down with him. So I
that's the
mean,
key. That's the key point is that they both have to get on the same page, and
yep,
Kyle's got to be able to trust him the way that he trusted Jimmy, whereas Kyle wants to do gadgets and zone reads and different things and because he doesn't have that trust with him quite yet. But there's another aspect to it, and that's that you know you're getting a lot of vanilla looks in practice. But when you play a team on Sunday, I don't care if it's the Texans. That Texans team had just beat the Cardinals like a week or two prior. They were a 4-win team, not a 0-win team or a 1-win team. That was a team that competed hard. And they had guys like Reed on that defense. I mean, he's a playmaker. I mean, the Chiefs let Honey Badger walk so they could pick up Justin Reed. He's a really good safety.
yep.
And so he was getting exotic looks. He's getting different coverages than what he saw in week all practice. So it was a little rough in the first half, but he managed the game really well. And overall, I mean, how can one thing I wanted to bring up, by the way, you said first time ever. I think Ben Roethlisberger actually won the Super Bowl as a rookie, if I'm not mistaken.
It was year
Was
two.
that year 2 for Ben?
Year
Okay.
two,
Okay.
year
So
two.
here we go. Maybe this is the year then. Let's go.
Hey, he would be the youngest quarterback to ever do it if he.
That's
gets it.
right.
Hey, and you
And
know,
Russ won it in year 2 also, didn't he? Did Russ Wilson win it in year 2?
I know he got to the playoffs. I think it could have been. You know what?
Was it year 3?
I do know that it was Roethlisberger and Russell Wilson. I think they were the exact same age.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can't remember exactly how the years went, but I think I just went and read that like a couple days for whatever reason.
I'm just going off of memory. I couldn't remember. I mean,
I think they were to the same exact age to the day, which is kind of
wow,
crazy.
that's a trip. Yeah, that is a trip. When we go and we look at that Arizona game, Trey Lance's first start, this is what's incredible, bro. I mean, it's an absolute trip. Niner by nature. What's up, bro? Jump in the live if you want. Jump in the live, fam. Man, good to see you, bro. What's up? I'm here with Rich from Celts Chronicles. Yeah, Sir Lance, bro. The king of the NFC. You already know, bro. And Debo, that like button, no doubt about it. Now that he's back, I like to say Rathman, that like button, right? William Floyd, that like button. Fred Beasley, that like button. But when we look at these numbers, and actually I remember looking at these with Niner by nature, man, 15 and 29, he's throwing the ball 29 times. But what's crazy is that there's a lot of drops in that game. He had a sensational 17-yard dig route to Jawan Jennings that just bounces right off his chest. There were drops in that game that shouldn't have happened. Only one pick on a play that he did force, but it was the right read. It was stepping up in the pocket and the ball sailed on him. Very correctable play, and something I think he makes probably 8 to 9 out of 10. Right? It's just like one of those. It just sailed on him. But look at this, bro. 16 carries, 89 yards. If he doesn't get sacked, he rushes for 100 yards in this game. So not only is he throwing the ball 30 times, he's your leading rusher against an undefeated Cardinals team in Arizona, and they. Yeah.
And this is Trey Lance's first game in 2
yes.
years?
First game in 2
first
years.
NFL game, first game in 2 years versus arguably the best team in the NFL at that point, and he had us right in the game. You flip a couple of those drop passes, and we could have won that game. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
for real. Hey, think about it. He was on the inch yard line, brother. Remember that when he ran that ball? I mean, I couldn't believe that Kyle Shanahan's running this guy as much as he did, and he's literally gets stopped on the half-inch line, or that game goes into overtime.
Yeah,
that game's in overtime, bro. I mean, for real, we only lost 17-10 in that game. And if you go back and you look at what happened in week 9, 5 weeks later against the same team, Jimmy gets routed at home. But right? He gets routed at home, and Kyler Murray's not even playing, bro.
Man, bro. Hey, one of the biggest things I'd say about Jimmy Garoppolo is it's so frustrating. Man, I have a little PTSD of the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, I believe it was not last year, but the year before, where I just remember Fitzpatrick on the first play. I know we had some injuries in the secondary, but Fitzpatrick comes in, and I feel like a guy like Fitzpatrick and the Dolphins at the point was like, hey, watch this. Like I feel like sometimes certain teams will be like, "Hey, watch what we're gonna have our guy Fitzpatrick do what your guy Jimmy hasn't done in 3 years on the first play, goes deep." And I know it's versus a backup cornerback, but then fast forward to like a Colt McCoy dropping dimes on our
Yeah,
home field,
yeah,
backup quarterback, and it's like, you know what, Jimmy G, you got a great release. There's certain things you're really well at, good stuff for being a 49er, this, that, and the other. But I don't know. It's for me, it's not, it's more like when I start seeing a guy like there's deer in the headlights, or you start getting happy feet, and I don't know, just certain things are super frustrating to me. It's like, I'm okay with being an average quarterback, but or I'm not okay with it, but it's like, hey, if you're an average quarterback and you're trying your heart out, but you're playing smart, it's like I
yeah,
feel like there would just be some stupid plays
yeah. Oh, for
to
sure.
where those were the things where I would kind of be fed up with. It's like
Yeah,
you know what? It's like I see a guy like Patrick Mahomes throw the ball away. I see Patrick Mahomes throw the ball away in the playoffs, and I'm sitting there like, that's all you got to do sometimes,
yeah.
Garoppolo. Throw the ball away. Like, just
Right.
play smart. It feels like stuff is still moving fast for him. It feels
Hmm.
like he's already got it made up in his head where he's going to go
Hmm.
because of the way that Kyle Shanahan is designing the play. It just doesn't feel like he's very instinctfully good. Like, and I don't even think that's has to do with physical attributes. I think it's more of a mental thing. I remember a few years back where the 49ers were saying, "Hey, he's not as smart as we thought he was."
Hmm.
I heard that from multiple different, outlets, internally, and you can see it. You can see it on the field. I'm just juiced up that, man. It's so easy for me to be optimistic and not even hop on any kind of negative train when for me, it's easy to see the details in a guy like Trey Lance. You know, the three main things I talk about, man, is just spiritually, mentally, and physically. And I feel like he is, without a doubt, the complete package. Just
Yeah,
hopefully, he stays healthy so we can all see it, man.
yeah.
It's been a couple of decades, man. So
Yeah,
I'm
and he's got a good family structure as well, which is good to see with his mom and dad. But yeah, when Jimmy got hurt and really messed up his knee, he came back on ice skates. He was not comfortable in that pocket no more. I
Hey,
mean, he
bro, it was a few games. Hey, if you go back to those first, my bad to cut you off, but
no,
if you
it's
go,
good. It's good.
because I've heard this so many times, it's the injury. But I remember being so mad. The first, I think we were 2-2, I believe, or 1-3, but I think there were 4 games, and then he got injured. And if you look at those first 3 games, whatever he had on and cracking during the summer, he came in on already on skates. And I feel like the skates led to his injury. You start
Yeah,
hesitating, you start tiptoeing, you start feeling some kind of way. I
yeah. I
guess
think it.
that
Yeah,
summer he had it on and cracking. Who knows what kind of crowd he was kicking it with, but I seen him on ice skates before the injury, man, and
yeah. Oh, I think it went from roller skates to ice skates. Because I
yeah,
saw him really afraid, bro. Quite
yep.
honestly, like
Hey,
it went from him being uncertain about the play. He's hitting porn stars in the off season after his big contract. His head wasn't on right. You know what I mean? And so that's
soon as I heard that, man, I was like, look, man, I come from the streets. I come from, there's a thousand things I've did that I'm not proud of. And I'm
mm-hmm,
not judging the man on like what he does, but like if I'm one of 32 quarterbacks in the NFL, if I'm privileged to be one of 32, like I kind of look at it like you're one way or the other. You're
yeah,
either hot or you're cold. If you're playing
yeah,
in lukewarm waters,
yeah. You
you're gonna
spit it, you
fall.
get spit out, right?
You're gonna fall. You're going to fall. And as soon as I heard about that, it wasn't even from a moral standpoint. It was from
Where's your
like
head at?
like, dude, man, you are one of 32, bro. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
he's not completely committed. I don't care
Yeah.
how cool someone thinks it is. I
Yep.
don't care if some people are like, nah, that's a real man right there. That, hey, to each their own. But on an NFL team, that just made me immediately assume that he wasn't all the way in it. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to chill on it. Let me watch this game. As soon as those first few games happened, I was like, yep, like it's done.
Very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. And what I mean by that is that he was really effective running the Niners offense when he came in the second half of that first year when we made the trade for him. And he came in those final 4 to 5 games. He would be off schedule. He'd break the pocket. He was moving.
Confident.
And then, like you said, yeah, confident. When he came back that next year, his head wasn't right. And then after he got hurt, bro, he was afraid. I mean, there were plays where I've seen him just literally. Remember when he was running circles in the pocket, trying to get out of the pocket, just nonsense, bro. I mean, just horrible. What a horrible look that was for the organization. Now Trey lit a fire under him to where he played better this last year. Still not obviously not good enough, and it's unfortunate. But he was also limited because he was afraid, because he got that left knee hurt. He was afraid to put weight on that foot and throw the ball downfield. He knew if he got rolled up on again, that thing was gone. And still don't think he's over it. I really don't. And so you saw things that really limited the 49ers offense. Most all of his balls were in-breaking routes. Nearly every pass he threw was an in-breaking route or a wide receiver screen. But you don't see out-breaking routes. You don't see the deep pitches. You rarely see a fade. And if he's throwing a fade, it's underthrown and the receiver makes a play on it. You know what I mean? So, but that's why I'm so excited about Trey, because he's going to be able to stretch the field. His legs are going to have defenses having to scheme against him. My only concern is a point that you brought up earlier. Kyle and him have to be on the same page. They have to be able to trust each other and build a game plan. My hope, brother, is that the game plan resembles more of what they did with Russ Wilson. In other words, you let him move around when the play breaks down. Don't come out there and try to run a whole bunch of zone reads, read option plays, G reads, all the stuff that he was doing in college. You traded 3 first-round picks or 2 first-round picks and a third, whatever it was, for a guy. Don't run him between the tackles every play. And I mean, we just looked at those numbers, bro. 16 carries. He had, almost double the carries of the starting tailback. I don't like that game plan. I don't want my running back or my quarterback being my leading running back. We're not running the single wing out here. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's important that they do have those wrinkles, but we remember growing up how impressive Steve Young was when the play broke down, but he was able to win from the pocket. Russ Wilson, when the play broke down, but he was still able to make plays from the pocket. These are the type of guys that I want to see. Donovan McNabb. I'll be honest with you. I think that Trey is a Donovan McNabb 2.0. I think he's the next level Donovan McNabb. He's a little bit more arm strength, a little bit more athleticism, a guy that can win and you feel confident is your franchise quarterback for years, So
That's funny. I always comped him to another Eagle quarterback, but not as a bigger Randall Cunningham.
You gonna go Randall? I was wondering.
I know Cunningham was a little bit leaner, but in Cunningham's earlier days, man, there was just just a lot of.
He was a really good player.
He was lankier, but it just the deep ball, the elusiveness, just a lot of it looked a little similar to me. But yeah, man, it's one thing I said about Kyle Shanahan was I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo, people are just so torn between them because I feel like he came at a perfect time. I feel like Garoppolo came right when the 49ers were already turning the corner. Like you could have put a Fitzpatrick or a Colt McCoy in there, and I think we could have seen similar production of wins. I feel like it's more about the timing of when Garoppolo came that made it look like he was the savior for us. And then at the same time, Garoppolo has made not only fans, but I feel like he has put on a little sense of panic when it comes to and worriness when it comes to fans and the organization. Like I feel like a lot of times the 49ers would play the game to not lose. Like even if they would go up, you wouldn't see them just dominate and shove it down their throat, or not in a disrespectful way, but go and take the game.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like a lot of games were very close. Like the games that were close, it looks like we could have dominated. The
Mm-hmm.
games that
Mm-hmm.
were just barely losing, looks like we should have won. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of that was, Kyle Shanahan not fully trusting in Garoppolo, which turned into not fully trusting just the whole grand scheme of things, to where it just had that little bit of lukewarm type of feeling to it, to where I hope that doesn't rub off. I hope that mentality hasn't been embedded so hard over the past 4 years, to where we don't see that kind of same tiptoeish stuff with Trey. Just like go for it. It's like, I know, hey, be smart. It's like you're so smart and brilliant. I feel like Kyle Shanahan is so brilliant that he has that space to just kind of freestyle and wing it. But it's because you already got your everything checked off. You got your I's dotted, your T's crossed. Go for it, bro. It's like, hey, I know you were a rookie when you came in. You and John Lynch were both rookies. But I have seen them level up, as far as not handing out big contracts or injured players, or players dealing with issues, whatever it is, off the field, injuries. I do see them leveling up. So hopefully, man, I could see if they really get it together quick, Kyle Shanahan and Trey Lance, and especially the offensive linemen, if those three areas click like faster, than sooner than later, I could see Kyle Shanahan being rookie, or not rookie, but offensive coach of the year, if he's really able to demonstrate his entire playbook, and that is a shot at Jimmy Garoppolo. If he's
Yeah.
able to demonstrate the entire arsenal, hey, I
Well, and
can't wait, man.
yeah,
I cannot wait.
and he's already revered by high level intellectual football minds. Kyle is very highly revered, and the
Yes.
thing about the Niners is that they're a little bit old school in that they win with defense and running the football. And so, to your point, Fitzpatrick. Oh, bro, if we had a little Fitz magic in here instead of Jimmy, I think we got a ring. I mean, call me crazy,
Hey,
but he's the type of guy that can make those throws that Jimmy
yes,
can't. And
yes,
and Jimmy was limited talent wise. Outside the numbers, they did not. I mean, I'm breaking down this film, and I'm seeing plays from Trey that they would run that they would not run with Jimmy. ISO deep pitches. Put a guy 1-on-1. You give him a choice route. If he plays off, we're running a hitch. If he plays up, we're running the fade. They wouldn't do that with Jimmy. It was all timing stuff across the middle, and so it does open up the playbook for Kyle. But what's interesting is Kyle started opening up the playbook of the gadget stuff as well. And I think what he's got to do is just really put his faith and trust in and say, hey, he might make a few mistakes, but I'm going to go with my guy. This is my guy. I'm going to give him the keys to the Lamborghini, and we're going to roll. We're going to put the pedal to the floor. And I think that's important to do early. Obviously, the reason why they can do that is because the Niners are built with a strong defense and a good running game. To your second point that you made about the offensive line, that's something that I think the offensive line is deeper than it's been, but it doesn't have as many losing a guy like Lakin, who was kind of, that stalwart guy that was always there. Alex Mack being kind of in limbo. McGlinchey coming back from injury. Compton being gone, not like he was, anything sensational. But right now, it's only Brunskill and Williams that are guys that we know are inked in coming back. I anticipate Mack coming back. I think he probably would have told Kyle and John no earlier if he was gonna retire, so they could prepare for it. But regardless, the depth on the offensive line is really good. I won't say it's great, but it's really deep. And so I feel confident because Chris Forrester is maybe the best offense line coach in the NFL. And so, I mean, he can do a cookout with Spam and have people smiling. You know what I mean? He can really do a lot with a little. So I'm excited about the depth of the entire roster from top to bottom. I see a little bit of drop off at safety. I don't know what we have behind Jimmy Ward, if Jimmy was to go down, maybe that's George Odom. I do like George Odom. I think a lot of people don't really understand that he's more than just a special teams guy. He has a good secondary play. In fact, he never missed a tackle in the box last year, and he has filmed. I'm going to actually do some breakdowns on our free agent signings, but I was kind of hoping we would have drafted a safety prospect because it was such a deep safety draft.
Right.
But we did get some good defensive backs, and Tariq Castro Fields I think is a steal where we got him. And overall, when you look at the depth of the Niners, bro, I'm just like, wow, that's a deep team. That is a deep team. There's going to be guys getting cut
Yeah.
that are going to go to other teams and play.
Yes, sir. Hey, one thing, I did the last time I did a live was the second day of the draft, and we were all scratching our heads. That's one of the first words that came out of my mouth with TDP, Ty Davis Price, was head scratcher. And then the more I kept thinking about it, the more I was just like, I always try to look at all angles. So I'm kind of like, oh, well, maybe they did, basically after the head scratcher comment, I kind of look at it like, I was trying to look at it through the 49ers lenses. Like, how are they seeing this?
Right.
Okay. What's been one of our main issues the past few years? The running backs are always going down. What better way to fix that with a big, strong, durable, 232-pound Ty Davis that makes one cut and does exactly what you want without hesitation,
Yeah.
because he's a bigger body. So he's going to absorb those NFL hits. I
Yeah.
watched him in the SEC, and I'll pay attention to the 2-yard runs, the 0-yard runs, because I want to see how he's getting game tackled and how he's getting up.
Yeah.
I'm watching how he's getting up. Okay, this dude ain't afraid of contact. He's not hesitant. He's getting up every single time. Okay, now I know what the 49ers are doing. How
Yeah.
are we not going to put ourselves in a position? A couple of backs go down. Now we got to rely on Trey Lance to run. Now we got to rely on Debo to run. People are like, oh, this pick is to appease Debo. No, this pick is to appease the 49ers in success, because every time we run into a problem a year before, we come through and try to correct it.
Right.
So
Right.
it's
Right.
like, and then people say, hey, well, we could have went and got him in the 5th round, 4th round. Hey, we might have thought the same thing about, who was it, Tyquan Thornton, who a lot of us thought could have got drafted in the 5th round. The Patriots come through and take him in the 2nd. We don't know who's on whose board. There could have been another NFL team out there like, no, I don't want the 4-3, the 4-2 guy. Everybody's going this direction. I'm going to go my direction. You know what I'm saying? Like, we might not all understand it, but the more I started looking at it, I was like, nah, that's beautiful. Like, you start adding up the power football that the 49ers can display with a Ty Davis, a Debo, a George Kittle, you put in a Lance over a Garoppolo. How much of a power move is that, just physically? And then you get a guy who's to take the top off with the gray. And then he's not just a speed dude. He's not just a Travis Benjamin. This dude's going to be running like we are, like you said, super stacked.
Yeah.
And, this is probably one of the, like, I'm not just an optimistic dude for no reason. If this was a year or two
No,
ago,
for real. For real. I agree.
this is not me just doing fandom,
Yeah.
expecting to see a Super Bowl. If this was a couple years ago, you'd be hearing me do nothing but probably complain about the quarterback position and whatever else. But I don't see a reason to complain. Like, I wanted safety, and I could still be sitting here talking about, because I wanted safety. I wanted to see Marcus Jones and Brian Cook, yada, yada, yada. It did not go that way, but they had a better vision. Hey, what better way of doing something than going to get Drake? Not Drake. Is it? Yeah, Drake Jackson. Beautiful pick. Beautiful pick. D4 didn't pan out. They go get Drake Jackson. We've been having issues with our running backs, which is why Debo got ran to the ground, which is why you see things like 16 rushes with Trey. It's like, hey, let's go get Ty Davis. Then the speed receiver. Hey, we're going to go get the cornerbacks. We're going to go get the offensive linemen later on. And look, it proved to be right. West was still there.
Yeah.
Poe was still there.
Yeah.
Like my God, man, we are. I would rather see us do everything that we did do and try to work it out with the Hufunga, you know,
Uh-huh.
and I went crazy this offseason on working up all the stats on interceptions. I believe it was 20, what was it, 23 out of 27 of the past Super Bowl winning teams have had a Pro Bowl secondary player. You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
that's almost, and then 27 of 27 have had a Pro Bowl player in the secondary where they were like a Pro Bowler the year before or year after, and a lot of them are Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm.
So the secondary is, I think, a lot. I think it's underestimated on the success of like, but you know, we don't have to have everybody be Pro Bowlers. I mean, it's like we went and got Kavarius Ward. You know, we
Mm-hmm.
went and re-signed Jason Verrett. It's like I just can't remember us being this stacked since probably the 90s, man. It's like we got to actually see it, you know, play out. But I think that's what's coming, man. So I'm
Yes.
sweating right now.
No, I think you're making some great points, man. The depth that we see is just absolutely ridiculous. And as we take a look here, bro, you know, typically teams only keep 5 to 6 receivers. And, you know, I got on this a little bit last night when I was doing my breakdown. And, of course, Brandon Ayuk, and you know, we're dealing with Deebo Samuel drama right now. We still have Jimmy's contract, and that's got to work itself out. But to know that once we finally get rid of Jimmy, we do have the money for Deebo, I think is very encouraging. So with that said, Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, you're hard pressed to get a better 1-2 punch if those guys are on the team. You're hard pressed to get a better 1-2 punch, right? And then you got a guy like Jawan Jennings, I mean, who had a really strong year and is a true number 3. I think he surpassed you know, what the Niners had in that kid that I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he signed with the Patriots, Kendrick Bourne. I think what we saw from Juwan last year was superior than what we were getting out of Kendrick Bourne.
And the blocking from Jawan.
Precisely.
One
yes.
of the best blockers, you know,
Yeah.
and in our scheme, you start adding up the strength. Oh man, we're going to
So
be a
important.
powerful team.
Then you add Danny Gray, like you talked about, a guy that can take the top off. But let's be honest, Deebo and Brandon can also take the top off. They just never got the opportunity because Deebo couldn't throw the ball down the field. You know, I mean, Deebo is a 4-4 guy, so is Brandon.
Yeah.
And, you know, you get...
Actually, Deebo could throw the ball. It was Garoppolo.
You know, you're right. Yeah, we couldn't get the ball, but that's just, it wasn't a part of our offense. And that's why we saw Brandon Ayuk and, you know, didn't he have a tweet this offseason that said more deep balls next year, please? Right? Right? Deep ball me. So, and then Marcus Johnson is a guy when healthy, he's been very productive. I think he's on the outside looking in because Ray gets a 2-year deal. Ray's the type of guy that, you know, can come out of the backfield, can play in the slot. He's going to run the reverses, the gadget plays, the underneaths. Another guy that has the speed to be able to go over the top. And he's a viable option for kick return and punt return, right? Keyshawn Johnson is not a slouch. Austin Mack is not a slouch. Malik Turner, bro, I really like Malik Turner, and he's a phenomenal special teams player. So this is
Malik Turner and Marcus Johnson. The one thing that I noticed about them when I was checking them out was their ability to catch the deep ball.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was them too. Where I was like, okay, I'm starting to see the vision. Like, hey,
bro, you
never know with injuries. So
these guys are more than capable of being a number 4 receiver on any NFL team. Seriously, even a number 3, like Malik Turner, man. Last year he played in Dallas, and that receiving core was, I mean, they had Amari Cooper, CD Lamb, and Gallup. Those 3 are studs. And then Malik was their number 4. So he can instantly come in, I think, contribute. He's not afraid to go over the middle. A very underrated receiver, man, I'm telling you, for real. And then a guy like Tayseer Mack was an average 16, 17 yards a catch last year for Pitt, and he's a 4-4 guy at 6'2". I mean, and then Tay Martin, bro. Tay Martin had 11 touchdowns this last year at Oklahoma State. Their number one receiver had 3 touchdowns against Notre Dame in the bowl game. Just a stud. I remember watching him at Washington State when he was like a freshman and sophomore getting true playing time. I mean, that's a loaded group of wide receivers right there. That is absolutely loaded. I don't even know. I mean, it's Marcus Johnson or Malik Turner is probably gone. And then, we got Tay Martin and Taysir Mack. I think they both make the practice squad as rookies. Just really good job.
It feels like it's a repetitive thing, like the defensive line. Man, I can't remember it being this deep. The offensive line, I can't remember it being this deep. The running backs.
Let's look at that D line, brother. Let's look at that.
My God, man. It's like it looks like the 49ers are like, hey, I know there's a lot of rookies, a lot of second-year players. We're super young, but I don't see a reason why we can't make a Super Bowl run.
Agreed.
It's just kind of like it feels like we're not going to be in that situation where if someone goes down, we got to go. Like if a running back goes down last year, we had to go sign a Brian Hill. If a couple of wide receivers go down, we might have to depend on a River Craycraft.
Right.
My bad, Craycraft. That's actually my son's cousin. But at the same time,
I think he could still emerge. Because last year he wasn't there yet.
Nah, man.
I mean, he could be a number 5 guy for a team. Because he's got that special teams ability. I liked him at Washington State.
Yeah, it's just me throwing a purposeful low blow, but I'm good off the River. I'm good off. I got my reasons, but I'm good off of River Craycraft.
I see. When we look at that defensive line, bro. Charles Omenihu is listed 4th on the depth chart, and so is Jordan Willis. I mean, these are guys that got big time playing time last year. Now they got D Ford up here starting, but obviously D Ford, if he comes back healthy, well, hey, I'm okay with that. The one thing that I think we might see is Samson Ebukam get traded or cut. The reason is because that $5 to $6 million a year salary might come into play in order for the Niners to be able to sign Debo. And if you have an offseason where, I mean, Kamiko Toure in a lot of ways is Samson Ebukam. And you get a guy like Drake Jackson, bro. I mean, this guy's a freak, an absolute freak. Wonderful, wonderful pick. I love the fact people were coming at me because I was saying edge at 61, please. I remember specifically on Jack Hammer on his show, I was like edge at 61. I typed it in, right? Hit that send button. People are like, what? Right? And I'm just like, hey, man, you can never have too many edges. Premier position. And, here's the thing. This is what I've been saying. Nobody thought we'd be in a Debo situation right now last year at this time. Nobody thinks we're going to be in a Bosa situation next year either, do they? But you know what? Bosa knows what he's worth. And if he wants a contract, when he wants a contract and wants to play hardball, you just never know. So every 2 years, bro, I'm drafting edge early. In this league, are you kidding me? Where they throw the ball all over the yard? That's how you win. And John Lynch knows that because he played free safety. He knows how important it is to have a Simeon Rice, right, and a Warren Sapp. And guys,
man,
exactly.
We think a lot alike with players because as soon as you said John Lynch, the first thought was Simeon Rice.
Exactly, and that's what I see in a Drake Jackson, right? Is a similar type player. But we get Kerry Hyder back, who had a really good year for us and plays well for Kasurik. We have Charles Omenihu, Jordan Willis. All of a sudden, a guy like Ebukam, bro, becomes expendable. And that salary could play in. Defensive line, Kinlaw coming back. We still got Givens, Ridgeway, and he's got a first step. He gets off the ball. I really like him as a rotational guy. Armstead kicked inside, can still play outside versus double tight end teams. Mo Hurst coming back off an injury year. Slayton and Atkins are really good players. I mean, for backups, give me a break. Kevin Atkins had 7 sacks this year at Fresno State as a defensive tackle. Kalia Davis has burst. I think he's probably going to get kind of that red shirt because of that knee injury. But that depth we see on the defensive line, the depth we see at backer, bro, these guys that are coming in at backer, they have no chance of making the team. We traded Jonas Griffith last year and he goes and starts for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's how deep we are at backer. And then you look at the corner position, we're deep there now. I tell you, there's a guy we have listed here that pops off the field on me, brother. Quantrez Knight from UCLA. You watch this guy, and he's a dog, bro. And seeing him listed at strong safety, he played at free safety. They had him at nickel. I mean, he was all over the place for them. And a team leader. I don't know, man. I've coached NFL players, and I'm not always right, but when I got a feeling about somebody, brother, I got a feeling about this guy. He's a leader. He's a ball hawk. He's always around the ball, makes great tackles. You can tell he just loves the game. Another guy would be Taylor Hawkins. They have him listed at corner. I think he plays safety for the Niners. He's a hitter, but when he keeps flexing in the games, you watch his highlights, he's flexing on everybody. But he's a first team corner that hits like a safety. I think they play him at safety. Leon O'Neal can play. He gets caught out of position, misses some tackles, but he can play. And then Tavares Moore obviously has good ability. We'll see how he comes back on the injury. George Odom, I like that signing. We know what we get from Hufanga and Ward. I think Hufanga makes a leap in year 2. Like you said earlier, sign Charvarius Ward, really big deal that we did that. We get Mosley back. Well, guess what? We have a guy in Ambry Thomas, right? Ambry Thomas, who started last year and got real big playing time. So now we got 3 guys in the mix for 2 spots. We got to find a nickel, but we also have Jason Verrett back healthy, Diamador Lenore, Darquise Denard, Tariq Castro-Field's a phenomenal pick. I mean, and then like you said, like the offensive line is just loaded as well with a lot of depth. I like what I see. They're gonna have to make it materialize, right? It's one thing to be on paper, but I like what I see on paper. I really do. I mean,
Same. Hey, a lot of people see a name like George Odom. I almost said Greg Oden. But George Odom, you see a George Odom and you see a Oren Burks, and people are, oh, that's special team players. I've seen the 49ers take those exact kind of players
yep.
and, turn silver into gold,
Yep.
Over and over and over. Someone was breaking down some similarities with Fred Warner and Oren Burks.
Precisely.
There was a stupid amount of just similarities, man.
Mm-hmm.
And no one thought Fred Warner was going to be what Fred Warner was going to be.
Yep.
And it just feels like the 49ers, with some guys, I feel like that passion, that heart, the love of the game, and just that relentlessness of, like, I'm not going to fail type mentality. It's like, of course, you have to have that. But when you're teachable, and when you really get certain guys who just thrive to learn.
Yes. Yeah.
You see guys like Fred Warner. You see guys like George Kittle. You see, it's leaving my mind on a few of the other guys that, just Jawan Jennings.
Mm-hmm.
You see those dogs. It's not all about just talent. You see the people who truly love football. And I could see, I don't think was it Oren Burks? I know they gave Kavarius Ward. I know they gave 2 guys, I believe, 3-year contracts, and then one guy a 2-year contract.
Right.
I believe Oren Burks was one of those guys. I don't know, but I could just see those kind of guys like Oren Burks in it, and I believe it is those 3 guys I'm talking about. Oren Burks.
I know Ray got a 2-year deal.
Greg Odom, possibly, but I could see them, if injuries do happen, I could see them being better than what people think.
You almost said Greg Oden again. It's George Odom. Yeah, but I actually, it's funny you do that because that kind of goes through my mind as well with him, with that name. But you're right. They do a great job of player development, brother. But what they also do is a great job of scouting guys. And they remember these guys. Oren Burks was on their radar when he was coming out of college. They didn't get him. Same with George Odom. But now they're able to find those guys on more of that budget scale. Now, think of Marcel Harris last year. Remember Marcel Harris playing that almost that rover position where you want a linebacker on the field, but you need a guy with speed?
Yeah.
So that's the type of guy Oren Burks is, but he's not going to miss tackles like Marcel does, right?
Or get pushed around. Yeah.
Yeah, or get pushed around. He's got legit speed, bro. Legit speed. And so I think they made an upgrade there. And then you with Odom, bro, Jaquiski was nice. Jaquiski made plays, but Jaquiski made a lot of mistakes. I've been breaking down film. I'm watching him undercut blocks and taking very poor pursuit angles. Of course, he drops that punt that Stafford gave him in the NFC Championship game, right? That changes the game. There were key mistakes that Jaquiski would make that sometimes people wouldn't see, and I'm actually a Tart fan. I have no problem with the guy. I think overall he's a good player. But George Odom, when you watch his film, again, not one missed tackle in the box last year when he was coming down. Really good. I mean, he's got some film that pops off, bro, in the passing game. I mean, you're like, what? I mean, he's flying around. So they do, like you were mentioning, a good job of scouting guys that other people don't feel, like you said, Fred Warner, George Kittle, Elijah Mitchell, right? These guys that are just, turn out to be really good players that other people don't really, see in that same light. So those two guys that you mentioned, I think are great examples of guys that can really lift the team, because it takes role players that know how to play those roles. Nickel position is going to be interesting to see what they do, but because you can put a guy like Mosley down there and he'll do a good job. You could put even a guy like Verrett, if Verrett for some reason doesn't win an outside job and he stays healthy, obviously. So they have options, but it's all going to have to develop and come out. Obviously, I wish we had a better number 2 than Nate Sudfeld. I'm just going to be honest with you. That's one area. But Brock Purdy, you know what I mean? Let's go.
We go from one Purdy quarterback to another, huh?
Man. That's the best thing they got going for them.
How do you think the story is going to end with Jimmy Garoppolo, man? How do you see it? How do you see it?
Yeah, so I got kind of a hotter take on that than most. I think that the Niners keep Jimmy Garoppolo until the trade deadline. I don't think they cut him because I think that they're just too proud as a front office. They're not going to lose this guy for nothing. It's too big of an investment. So what I see them doing is stashing him on injured reserve. And I think what they'll do is they'll keep him away from the team. Right? They'll keep him away from the team. So he's not going to be in the locker room. He's not going to be a threat to Trey Lance playing, right? But I think they keep him on the team to the trade deadline because there's always a bad team that needs a quarterback, or there's a decent team that has their quarterback get injured. That could say, what if Miami, for example, they got all this money and all these players. What if Tua underperforms or gets hurt? And Mike McDaniels is like, well, I know what I can do with Jimmy. You know what I mean? Or if Houston's just like, all right, this is not working down here. We got to do something because our season ticket holders aren't happy. So I think they hold on to him to the trade deadline, or they get something done before then. But hope I'm wrong. Hope I'm wrong.
What time is? It's funny you say that because typically I get impatient, so I'll try to. I made one prediction in February. He's going to go to the Panthers. And this is before any quarterback had been signed. This is before there was any movement. I always like to pick, outside the box kind of type team. Whenever I'm predicting anything, I'll just have competition with myself, man. Just like,
sure.
All right. Where do I think this? How do I think it's?
Why not? It's a crapshoot, anyways, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have fun with it. So
exactly.
I thought it was the Panthers, and hey, that's the one team that's kind of still on the table. But even besides that, I started like, all right, look, how do you really see this playing out? I was like, you know what? If they've held out this long, I know the surgery happened. There was possibly offer, it didn't happen, yada yada. We know all the story and the drama, but I kind of I don't know, I have a funny feeling how it could almost I feel like he could leave us the same way we got him. I could see it being around sometime around Halloween, and I think we got him for a second round 43, the 43rd pick. Because man, I did a crazy mock draft where I had like Atlanta trading with the Panthers, and then the Panthers went back to 43, and then we traded Garoppolo, yada yada. And so then I did more research. Hey, what did we actually trade for him? And it was the 43rd. I was like, hey man, when I see little coincidences, sometimes it just sticks with me. I was like, I could see the 49ers trying to get exactly the same back. Like, I could see them being that stubborn waiting for a team to get that desperate and, shooting the shot, the same way I could see him leaving the same way we got him, man. I could
Yeah,
see it.
that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm saying, right? I mean, you're speaking my language, my man. You know what I mean? I don't know if I got you on the same boat, Rich. I mean, maybe you're feeling what I'm feeling, because I don't want to think that. I don't want to think that Jimmy's going to be on the team to start the season and that we're going to hold him to the trade down. I don't want to. But again, like I said, who's going to trade for a guy they can't throw the football right now? He literally can't throw the football because he's hurt. They don't even know if they're going to have him in training camp. And now it's so far after free agency and the draft that's like teams feel good. Oh, we're all right. Yep. So it takes a team going 0-4 to start the season to be like, we got to do something. Right. And then you have options to be able to trade him. Do I think they're going to get a second for him? No. But they're going to get something for him. And that's better than letting him walk for nothing, right? Even if it's a comp pick or whatever, you want to be able to control the situation if you're the Niners, and you don't want to be able to, cut the guy and then he goes and plays for a division rival, or, you just want to be able to move him away. Not like we're concerned if he does go to Seattle or something, but I just think that that's the way it fits with the Niners. At the same time, it's dangerous ball, because as long as he's on the roster, where do you get the money for Debo?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of layers,
No.
Hey, if I was saying what Rich, if I was saying, what I felt and what I thought, hey, man, he's about to be gone tomorrow. It's finally going to happen, yada, yada. And then even if I try to be even a little more realistic, it's got to happen before the season. I'm just trying to look at it. A lot of the times, I'm trying to look at it through the 49ers lenses. What have they shown us? How are they seeing it? They've already shown that we've heard foot the bill. We can foot the bill, and we're not just going to give them up. So they're going to try. They have a price in mind. They have a value in mind, and they're going to try to hit that, or they're going to hold on to them. It looks like they're going to just hold on to them until a team, shows the money. Shows the value. Hey.
That's what I'm saying, brother. And not a lot of people are saying that. There's no, in fact, nobody. I haven't really heard anybody say that.
No, they're like, he's gone.
They think they're going to cut him once he passes a physical, all that. But the problem is once that happens, it's too late. That's started training camp and teams are set. They're going to go with what they got and see if it clicks. Why would they want, why would they bring a guy in at that point?
What would be, I almost appreciate the fact that I don't dive into every scenario, because I don't know. I feel like it brings a little authenticity to just the situation. But what would be the difference in cutting him like a little later down the road compared to right now? You
have an injury settlement. You can't cut him when he's injured.
The $7 million.
Yeah,
$7 million. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You can't. So that's a big issue. Also, if you cut him, you're not getting nothing back for it. You know what I mean? It's like, and he can pick where he wants to go. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
In my mind, Jimmy kind of forced the hand of the Niners. He's like, oh, okay, you're gonna trade me. That don't feel so good. That don't feel so good anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get that surgery now. You're gonna trade me, huh? Because I don't really want to go to Carolina or Houston. So I want to pick my team.
He said, man, I'm about to get a surgery. I'm about to go make a commercial with Grandma.
Right,
Jimmy G.
And now the Niners are like, oh, so you're going to play that game. Well, guess what? We're not going to cut you. We're going to trade you anyways. We're going to hold on to you because we just paid for our entire offseason and we're playing hardball with Debo. So, I think the Debo situation is volatile, though. I'll be 100% honest with you. Everybody's like, oh, it's great. Debo's back, right? Debo's back. No, I don't see that yet. Until he signs the dotted line, that's a volatile situation, brother. I truly believe that. I don't see him playing on this contract. If I'm Debo Samuel, I'm not playing on this contract. I'm too physical of a guy. I'm too good of a player to play on my rookie contract. Now, would I have gone about it like the way Debo did? No, I wouldn't have done the stuff he did, but I still would have been. I would have been forcing a new contract, no question about it.
That's a scary thing too. Is like once you kind of do something like that, once you, and Hey man, hey, I'll speak for myself. Only the Lord knows what I would have done in that position at 25, 26 years old. Who hey, I might have been playing big games at 25, 26 years old. I'm 36. I'm 36 years old now. I got four kids, a wife. So, back then, it was a different story. You know what I'm saying? So I could have been, I've definitely matured like tremendously. With what I eat, read, listen to, watch, like the whole 10 yards
Yeah, for
completely,
sure, for
a
sure.
full 180. So, I'm not like judging, how he went about his business because, I might have done something similar back in the day, even though I've always been, humble and respectable and all that stuff. But
Well, and I
uh
think the key thing is, brother, is we don't want to judge him because we know that Debo is a tremendous teammate and he
yeah, yeah,
plays hard football.
yep,
But the reality of the situation is Debo got gassed up this offseason.
yeah,
Debo went around the NFL and everybody was telling him how great he was,
yeah.
and his head just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
And you
Debo
just
got a little bit gassed up.
that's the scary part. You
Yeah,
just don't know how many times it could happen again, or
right.
it does create a little bit of trust.
Yeah,
It does.
it does. It does. And I think that actually hurt him when it came to other teams. A guy like DK Metcalf is reported to be wanting to be traded as well, but he's not playing those cards. I mean, let's be real. DK Metcalf goes from Russell Wilson to Drew Lock in a rebuild. I don't think he's happy, bro. Plus, he wants a new contract. But you know what? He showed up to the offseason. He's showing up. He's not out in the media, acting a fool, doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
Even A.J. Brown was more quiet and yet demanding a trade. So I support Debo, but I'm also the type of guy that is really big about culture. Really, really big about culture. And there's no one player, bro, that's more important than the culture of a team.
Real
Now,
talk.
I
Real
love
talk.
Debo. I love Debo. But let's be real. The way Debo plays, he's injury prone. He's injury prone. He's proven that. He's gotten hurt every year he's played. Even this last year, he was dealing with injuries, right? And coming in and out of the game in some games. And it's just his play style. So it's tough to throw 70 million guaranteed, 25 mil a year quarterback money at a receiver that drops balls. He's like, I mean, I hate to bring up the bad stuff because I love the guy, but he does drop the ball. In fact, he's in like the top 10 compared to the amount of receptions he had. But there's nobody better in the NFL right now with the ball in their hands than Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
So I am recognizing the fact that he's an absolute game changer. But if it becomes toxic, it's not worth it, bro. It's not worth it. I don't care how good you are. If the locker room becomes toxic and the team chemistry goes, down the tubes, it's not worth the investment. So the fact he's changed up his mode a little bit, he's pulling back, is good. But I still think it's volatile until he signs a dotted line. I don't know what the Niners are going to do. I think that they could do something to his rookie deal. Like I said, if you can get Trent Williams to restructure, if you can cut Samson Ebukam, there's ways they can make it work. But they got to do something. It's got to be done before the season, or I think he holds out, man. I would not play if I was Deebo Samuel on my rookie deal. I would not play. He's getting
Yeah, I've
paid
heard
by
it.
Cherry Bundy. He's getting paid by Old Spice. He doesn't need to play. He can hold out and force a trade like Deshaun Watson, bro. I
Yeah,
would.
he might be slanging some Debo his back shirts. You know what I'm saying? He's
Exactly.
probably slanging some merch. But
Yeah.
regardless, hey man, hey, hey, I'm right there with you, man. I feel like culture, when it comes to culture and those things matter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it just really, really matters. Us on the outside, we could have our favoritism, and if we like Debo, and I mean, I was referring him to Reggie Jackson, Mister October,
Mm.
New York Yankees back in the day, and I'm not a Yankee fan, but I remember hearing them just describe Mr. October as the straw that stirs the drink.
Mm-hmm.
We seen what he did for us last year, and it's like, I have every reason to not hate on Debo like whatsoever. But at this end, at the same
And I
time,
don't think we are, right?
when
We
you
yeah.
but like when man, I'm just the more and more I'm growing and learning just as a person. If you got a little crack in the foundation, man, the whole house could come falling down. You know,
Yes.
all it takes is
Yes.
a little crack in the
Right.
foundation. But yes, that crack in the foundation can also be patched. It can also be restored. It can
Precisely.
also be fixed.
Precisely.
It just depends on what direction it's going to head
Yeah.
in. And
I'm good with it right now.
you hope and
If
you
it
just
if it right, if
you
it
start
continues
seeing
to
that crack,
spiral,
if
right.
you see the crack starting to,
Exactly. Like he
then
he pushed my limits as far as where he wanted to go with it, but I'm good with it right now.
yeah,
We got a
yeah,
lot of time before the season starts. The guy
yeah,
wanted his money. People understand that receivers are divas. We get it, right?
yeah,
We get it. You can still win a Super Bowl with a Jalen Ramsey headspace type. You can still do
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And quite frankly, there is no better teammate than a guy like Debo. He brings the
yeah,
guys together. He's first out on the field. He's throwing the ball to the fans. This guy's a great dude, but he's just got to pull it back. He's got to reel it in just a little bit. He's starting to do that. And so if he can keep that going, I think we're fine. I think we're fine.
yeah.
And but yeah, man, character is really important when you're about to.
Hey,
You want 70 million? You're acting like this, bro. Like it's just there's a delicate balance. And professionalism is important. Like you said, we're not trying to judge. I love the guy. There's nobody better in the game of football right now with the ball in their hands. There isn't.
oh,
I'm willing
yeah.
to admit that.
Hey, when you demonstrate that
But
kind of heart, I just look at it like it's a young thing, because I know,
yeah,
hey, because I know exactly, who I was and what I was doing at 25 compared to 35. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully
yeah,
he could just continue to level up, in everything he does. You know what I'm saying? And be, hey, man, sky's the limit. If he stays healthy, he could be a Hall of Famer. You just hope that
yeah,
those
yeah.
little cracks don't get bigger, man, and he goes the right direction. It is what
Exactly.
it is. We are a super, super stacked team.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get to see him be a part of that, man, just going forward.
No question, brother. Well, hey, man, I've had an excellent time talking ball with you, brother. We gotta have to do this more for sure. I'll come on your show. You come on here whenever I go live, bro. If you want to set up certain times we do it, that's fine. Or please feel welcome to always hit the link. I got my email in there. I'm not on Twitter yet, bro. I need to get on
Okay.
there apparently, but I do have my email in my about section, so you can hit me up there. But I'd love to go live with you more, man. I'm going to be doing more breakdowns. I'm going to come back tomorrow night and do another breakdown on that Seattle game, second half of that Seattle game with Trey.
All right.
And if you want to come up live, man, I'll be on. And I'm
Yeah,
just
man.
grateful you stopped by, Rich. It's nice to meet you, man. And I want to make sure that everybody, if because there's a couple people that are watching. My channel is brand new, but there's a couple people out there. They need to go to Celts Chronicles and subscribe, because Rich is a good dude. And he's made some great points. And when the game slows down for a lot of our guys, it's going to be beautiful. And that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing that, I just look at a guy like Elijah Mitchell and the production we got from him in his rookie year. And when you think about it, bro, college kids only play like 11 games. And we went to the NFC Championship last year. Isn't that like 20 games? Right? And he's like he was the bell cow, bro. For a professional football team, he's like, what? Bro, can you name the college he came from? Exactly.
Uh, uh,
Bro, I can't either. It's like University of something and something and something. Like I always forget the name of it. Like it's more than Texas El Paso. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
Lafayette. It's like University of something
Central
Lafayette.
Lafayette in the
Yeah,
middle of
like yeah. Like so, I mean, for him to do what he did that year, and to come back, have the off season, NFL locker room, what kind of production we got to get out of this kid, and Aaron Banks, you bring in a guy. That big fellow Burford, who's a dog, right? He's gonna come in and try, light a fire
yeah,
under Aaron Banks, right? So the competition, these second year guys, you made a great point there,
yeah.
man. The game slows down for these guys going into year two. They learn from these vets. They get the confidence.
Hey,
Yeah, bro.
that's a tweet. That's a tweet I put out not too long ago. I said, with the investment of Trey Lance, we went out and got 5 offensive linemen. That's going to just create that competition. These guys
Right.
are coming in hot. These guys are
Yeah.
coming in hungry.
Yeah.
And and they might take your spot if you're not ready, you know. But one thing I will say about Banks and Moore is John Lynch, you know, he seemed like in his presser, like he seemed like he was confident about them stepping up.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I start paying attention to just their pass protection compared to their run, it seems like it all fits to Trey Lance.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, we just drafted a year ahead. And man, but it feels like that's going to
Perfect.
continue the longevity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're trying to build a dynasty. I
Yeah.
don't know, it just feels like that whole dynasty, you know, I question, you know, that's besides Garoppolo, I would question Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. Hey, you could be brilliant, you could be this, you could be that, and the other, but can you be a leader of men? Like, can you be a leader of men, man? Like, can you, you know, I believe they can. I see them. If I didn't see them paying attention and leveling up, whether it be character or injuries or whatever, you know, I might, you know, another thing that kind of, I go from subject to subject, but it's like,
Yeah, no, it's on the mind.
man, we went from, I think 5 coaches that left, I'm pretty sure had 0 Super Bowls. 5 coaches we brought in have a combined of 6 Super Bowls. And then you combined not only 6 Super Bowls versus none in a coaching staff, but Brian Greasy and
Yeah,
Anthony
yeah,
Lynn won a Super
yes,
Bowl together. So they're kind of like brothers in a way that have
yeah.
won a Super Bowl together with Mike
Mike
Shanahan.
Shanahan.
You know, they
Yeah.
probably seen Kyle Shanahan in it when he was 18,
Oh, of
19 years
course,
old.
100%.
It's like a family reunion. Then the
Yep.
other second set of Super Bowl winners were Mike Sorensen
Right, right.
from Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
and then I believe his name is Schneider from
Brian,
Seattle as
yeah,
well.
Brian Schneider, special teams coordinator.
Yeah,
I'm really excited about that guy
and those
for
two
sure.
guys both won a Super Bowl with Seattle. So
Yes.
it's like you get 2 pairs of guys that have
Yeah.
separately won Super Bowls. You start bringing this stuff together, man. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, like I see, okay, like okay,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, I know. I think the Niners are in a really good spot. Kyle does a good job getting high quality because the coaches he gets are high character guys, right?
Yeah.
They're high character guys. He knows they're proven. Some of them have worked with his father or played under his father. And so it's like you said, it's a family atmosphere, family fare. He knows what he's getting. And man, we're gonna have more to talk about. I hope to see you tomorrow night, brother.
Yeah, hey, thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
you even letting me on. You know, anytime you're always welcome on my channel.
Right on, brother.
You know, so yeah, man, it's like you know, I'll find a way to hit you up. I know you said you have your email, so
Yeah.
hey man, I'll be hitting you up. You could hit me up. You could, if you click on my channel, you scroll wherever you got to scroll to. I don't know if it's on your phone or laptop, but you can find all my info, whether it's Twitter, Facebook. You know, you could
Okay.
hit
Well,
me
I'll
up.
hit you up when I end this broadcast. We'll talk for a second in the back,
All right, my man.
and
for sure.
I'll get your info. All right, everybody, go Niners. God bless you.
Yee.